A good one to do.
Made it on TV channels and stuff.
It has, yeah. It was on
Really
like
cool
BBC
to see that.
Is it really?
the
Yeah.
other day.
Was it
Wow.
BBC? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Some guys like tag me on Instagram, like, look, big air on the BBC.
That's sick.
I mean, how cool is that? You've made an event.
Especially
it's
for
actually
Tom.
now. Yeah, absolutely. But like, actually now the event has gone full. I don't know. It's now at the very height of. It's on TV.
Yeah, it's like
one
pop
of the
culture.
Yeah, it's like one of the places that
Broken
your
through.
uncle sends you a video of the riding. It's like Rampage. It's like
Exactly.
Yeah, true. That's
congrats.
awesome. Yeah, it kind of never was meant to be like that. It was just experiments.
So how did it start then?
It
What was
started-
actually the start?
It was a road trip with me and Macduff, and actually the Welsh boys, Adam and Danny, and Dylan Stone as well. Back in the days, we just did a road trip, and we kind of wanted to make it crazy. We love making big step ups. We made that one in Pease Lake, actually, the Pure Darkness step up. I guess quite a few people have probably gone there and ridden it. It's still there somehow.
I've never
I
even
think
heard of it.
10 years ago we
No
made
way.
it. You might have seen a picture of it. You probably might recognise it. It's quite like a lot of people ride it.
Okay.
And then after that, we wanted to go. Actually, it was the first time me and Pilgrim ever went to South Africa because Monster had just launched there. So we went to a contest there, and then we were like, "Oh, South Africa's actually the funnest place ever. Like, it's so good for riding. The weather's amazing for the winter."
Yeah.
And then whilst we were there, we met a few guys, and they were like, "Yeah, our friend's got a farm. You can build a big step up there for your next project." So we actually, the next winter, went back there and made that massive step up, which was Pure Darkness 2. Did that on dirt jump bikes. And then we made Pure Darkness 3 the next year, which is when we made the 72-foot tall rolling tower or something out of trees.
Yep.
And then made the step up even bigger.
So it was just a step up. Just building a step up every year.
But number 2 was, and then number 3 was the even bigger step up. And then we actually built a load of other jumps and then started to ride them on slope style bikes as well, because it got a bit bigger. Yeah. And that was pretty nuts.
Step ups were big.
It was still, I think, bigger than the DarkFest step up now. I think it still is.
I've never heard a single speed freewheel make a sound.
You came out to number
How'd
2,
you go
didn't
out?
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard it before or since. Like, that was right at the limit of what you could. I feel like what you can roll out of at that speed.
Yeah, I
on
think
a
so.
Single speed like jump
Dirt
bike.
jump bike, yeah. Well, then actually after Pure Darkness 3, we actually just decided the jumps were too big for jump bikes. I jumped that step up 3 times and I crashed it 3 times.
Really?
I jumped it once straight, just exploded when I landed, and I was like, oh well, whatever, I'll flip it. Landed, exploded again, and then I was like, oh whatever, well, it's not gonna happen a 3rd time. Flipped it again, exploded, hurt my wrist, and that was the only times I hit that step up on a slope bike.
What year is
like-
this then? What sort of year are we talking?
I think that's 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was one and done.
Well, yeah.
I was one and done. Exploded
Yeah,
on
it
landing.
wasn't exploded. And we're like, right, we're not going to make the jump smaller. We're just going to have to get bigger bikes.
Bigger bikes.
So
But
that's
people are
when-
already doing. Were people doing this already?
Yeah, that's
I'm trying
exactly
to think of the
when
trajectory of when this was all
Fest
happening.
series was just starting off as well.
Right,
They had
okay.
DarkFest, and I think the first Loose Fest, and we are kind of like, oh, sick, you guys are literally doing exactly what we're doing, just making big jumps for downer bikes.
Yeah.
Let's like collab. So we invited all like the Fest crew out to the first DarkFest. So
Which back then is what? Andreu?
Sorgi, Nico
Yeah.
Vink, I think Zink came,
Yeah.
Aggie.
And that was cool. From memory, back then they were inviting a few moto guys as well. Is that right? Is that around then? You get like
Yeah.
Berriman would go
Yeah.
and hit some stuff.
Yeah. That was cool. That was kind of all started like, big mountain bike jumps, motocross jumps, crossover. We've never done that at DarkFest. I think the jumps are too soft and they need to be too perfect. So like, if we had a motocross bike, it would chop the lip up too much and make too much work. But we've always thought about it because that would be cool.
Fuck yeah, it would.
It makes sense.
Yeah. That was when
step
like,
up.
for me personally, started seeing it more and more, was like this whole movement of like Fest series and that, like, I wouldn't say it's a festival, but they were inviting people, right? You could go and watch.
Yeah, they
think.
always had an open day and
Yeah.
people would come and watch, and it was normally at a bike park or the
Yeah,
one in South
it was a
Africa.
bit
We had
more
like an
public.
open day for the locals to come as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Loose Fest is at an actual bike park as well, and Huckfest, so that's kind of
Okay.
the
Yeah.
jumps with the
Huckfest
show.
is the Norwegian one. is that
Huckfest was
right?
a Norwegian one. That was the original
Okay.
first ever one. I think that was quite a few years before any of the others, actually.
That was Mackin and
That's right.
Was it Trond as well?
Potentially.
I can't remember
I
who's
can't remember.
first.
They were definitely
yeah.
there. Yeah, it's definitely Mackin. I think Tron was involved too somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that movement's starting to kick off, and then you're like, look,
So we kind of like, we're both doing the same thing.
collaborate a little bit.
Let's collaborate. Yeah, and all you guys are interested in the same thing.
Yeah.
So Macduff, me, and Dre actually came out for the number 3. We were kind of like, yeah, you guys have to come, and that was the first ever DarkFest. Then we moved again back to Stellenbosch, because then we met another guy who was like, I've got a farm too, you guys can build on. And we went there and it was the DarkFest farm. We were like, wow, this is incredible. Like the undulations on the hill that we could make hips and step ups and everything out of, and just the view there was amazing. And that was 6 years ago, I think, 5 years ago.
That's where you're at now.
And that's where we're at now. It's grown every year. Like, well, for me, it's kind of like when you see your kid growing up every day, you don't really notice it. But then if someone's like, wow, he's so big now, you're like, oh, really? Like, I haven't noticed. It's the same then. Same with DarkFest. Everyone's like, wow, it's so big now. It's been like just incremental sort of a few more riders each year, a few more media output each year, a few more views each year. So kind of, but then I watch back just for fun, the original first build videos and stuff like that. And it was totally different, actually. It is now seems to be way cooler, hopefully.
It's the unknown back then, wasn't it? Like, what were you?
Yeah, it's like creating the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like
well, jumps didn't really exist like that, did it?
yeah.
Well, there you go. You flipped one this year that you guinea'd before and broke your wrist.
Yeah, that jump always has, doesn't matter, even though the jump's totally different, it's still just that spot, and it's in your head. I'm sure you've had crashes around as well, where you're like, it's a berm or something you've had a big crash on, you just don't hit that berm the same ever again, do you?
Dude, definitely. And seemingly 4 years between, they've got so unbelievably dialed. I feel like you must have changed things just incrementally, because like with dirt jumps, I always feel like you can make anything work. Even the crappiest jump, you can make it work if you just keep digging, keep changing little bits, and then you end up with something that works. It doesn't. There's no I don't think there's necessarily a blueprint. Personally, I think you can make stuff work differently.
Yeah, it's not FMX, is it? Where you've just got a standardized ramp.
Yeah,
that'd be boring, wouldn't it? It's cool that every jump's different. They're not always straight. They're not always a step up. Like they're always a bit. Some are kicky than others. Like it's kind of the fun of it, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Do you have a book? How do you note down numbers? Like, is there theory behind it or not?
We do have a book, that's got it's actually Sea-Dog has the book. Clemens Caldela, he builds DarkFest with me and Audi 9s and everything. He's kind of the main mastermind builder. We always talk about stuff. I'd say I normally have the vision of something, and then he has the realistic way of making it. Yeah. And then we kind of always talk about the numbers together. Even for example, the 110,
break down the 110.
We literally built it.
Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type the Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!